I have an article here from boundintocomics.com. Rumor. Amazon Silk. Spider Society acts as entire writer's room. Spider-Man spinoff being retooled for male-skewing audiences. There's a nice little picture of Silk. According to the latest whispers vibrating through the World Wide Web, Amazon's upcoming Silk Spider Society has cleaned out its writer's room in service of a massive from-the-ground-up retool into the series' entire creative direction. The series is set to follow the story of one Cindy Moon, a young woman with her own set of spider powers who, per the series' official logline, escapes imprisonment and searches for her missing family on her way to becoming the superhero Silk. Notably, while its superhero and the entire existence being closely tied to that of Spider-Man, she receives her powers from the same radioactive spider which resulted in his origin and is freed from her underground prison thanks to his help. Whether or not the project will either establish a connection to or feature an appearance from the web slinger is currently unknown. The reasons why is because they share the rights with Marvel, basically. As such, any use of the web slinger is dependent on some level of agreement between the two, as seen with all of his appearances in the MCU proper, and whether or not one has been reached in regards to Silk Spider Society is yet to be confirmed or denied. Though it first entered full production in November 2022, the onset of the 2023 writer's strike resulted in the series being put in indefinite hold. Following the strike's conclusion, Deadline reports that per their sources, the Silk Spider Society's Red Room had been looking to get back in the saddle sometime in mid to late January 2023. However, for a recent report from entertainment news outlet The Ankler is to be believed, these plans for the writer's return have instead turned into plans for complete project restart. Relaying information provided to by a supposed source, staff writer Elaine Lowe alleged that not only had the series recently let go of its entire writer room, minus its showrunner Angela Kang, and one of the co-executive producers, despite them having already written several episodes, but it was also being refocused with a more male-skewing audience in mind, a la Reacher, Jack Ryan, and The Terminalist, all three of which have been some of Amazon's most popular streaming offerings. When reached by Lowe, Amazon had offered no comment on her scoop. Alongside Silk Spider Society, Lowe reports that Amazon is also making moves on their previously announced Spider-Man Noir series, having entered negotiations with the heroes Into the Spider-Verse voice actor Nicolas Cage to reprise the role in live action. Okay, I don't know about that, but in terms of whether it's a good idea or not, but I mean, it could be interesting. We'll see though. Further, these two series are only two of the multiple live-action Spider-Man spin-offs currently in the works at Amazon. Though as of writing, the company is keeping the identities of their other projects tightly under wraps. That's where the article ends. I'll link this in the description box and read it for yourself. There's some nice art to look at and everything, but I basically covered everything. But them wanting to go with more of a male skewing audience and stuff, it's not surprising because, like I said, Reacher, Jack Ryan, Terminalist, those are pretty popular series for Amazon. So it's not surprising that they would try to make more shows in that vein. Makes absolute sense to me. Some people are, of course, freaking out about it because, oh God, it's going to be objectification. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And it's like, no, it's not. Because if you've watched any of those series, you would know that they don't objectify. Hell, you could sit here and even say that, like, with like Reacher, that there's parts of it that are quote unquote woke. Now you don't really notice it unless you're really looking for it. And even then, it's hard to call it woke in the sense of it's not garbage. Because to me, woke just equals pretty much garbage, essentially. I mean, it's like it's the ham-fisted diversity. It's like that's the terribleness again. Because what's the problem with like woke? It is you could argue that you hate some of the stuff about it's woke, so it's got a bunch of women and minorities in it and stuff, and it's the problem isn't that. The problem is that it's poorly written because the people who have been placed in charge of writing, sometimes directing or whatever as well, they're not there because of their talent. They're there because of their appearance, because of who they are, what group they are, what little check mark they can make and stuff. So they don't have the talent, they don't have the skill to actually do something well. Whereas like with Reacher, for example, even if you want to argue that there's some woke stuff, it happens so infrequently. I don't want to go into details because I like the series pretty well. I'll just say that I don't want to go into details for spoilers or whatever for people who haven't seen it. I would recommend the series. If you haven't watched it, I would recommend it myself. It's just me, But anyway, The point is, though, is it happens so infrequently. It's done well, and it is not the focal point of anything. So it's easy to overlook. It's kind of like how it was in the old days, quote unquote, 80s and 90s, where you would have some of that kind of stuff in it, maybe even early 2000s. You would have some of that stuff in it, but you just kind of overlooked it because it wasn't a big deal. It's not going to bother you. It's not going to make you stop watching because they don't hammer you over the head with it. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Talking about this series, like I said, some people are freaking out on X about it, or other social media. I think this is a good thing. I think it means it's a series. It could be better than like to be expected. Because when you first hear about Silk Spider Society, what? It sounds like crap. Because all these spin-offs and stuff, your Madam Webs. I don't know about Craven. It's hard to say. That movie could be good, could be bad. But anyway, whatever. It's all these, generally spin-offs and all that stuff aren't the greatest things in the world. But we'll see. With this, go in there with an open mind. I always try to be open-minded about this kind of stuff. We'll see. I don't know when the series will be coming out. Don't know who's in it, any of that kind of stuff. So we'll see. But anyway, I'll link this in the description box if you want to read it for yourself. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.